Everybody, this is MLS Venice, and today we're talking about how to create a dashboard. So the screen we have here is an example of a dashboard. So a dashboard basically is a sheet comprising of various charts. And on these charts, you'll be able to alter the data you have based on these buttons that you would have added. So you realize that if I select beta HCG, I have data on only beta HCG. If I select troponin, I have data on only troponin. If I select PSA, okay, so let me make it beta HCG, and I have for only Iscado, so I can close this, and I'll have beta HCG for all the various areas. Okay, I can also change with the dates as well, if there are data on that particular date. Okay, so October, we have data here. So realize that these three buttons are controlling these charts. If I want to see every data available, I will have to close these filters and I'll have the full data back. Likewise, if I come here, these two buttons are controlling this chart. So if I select COVID-19, for instance, this is the data I have, and I can choose to look at it in December. There is no data in November, in October, so I have some in October. Or I can close these filters and have the full data back. So we want to use our charts that we created the last time to make something like this, right? So what we are going to do is to add a new sheet. And rename it dashboard. So I have the name dashboard, so let me make it dashboard 1. Right. So the first thing is to select every cell with a Ctrl+A. You go to view, and then we get rid of the grid lines. Now that the grid lines are gone, let's give this a title. So we go back to home, and then we merge everything. Then you can type in, for instance, if the name of your lab is XYZ, you can have XYZ Laboratories Dashboard. Okay, right. Then I'll select everything here and then increase the font size. Make this bold and maybe make the writings red and maybe fill it with blue background. Great. So what we are going to do is just to go to the pivot tables, the charts that we created over there. These are the charts. This is on HB. We have another chart on malaria prevalence, client age distribution, client gender distribution. Okay. Then if you go to financials, we created other charts like chart on test requested against revenue, most requested test, revenue sources. So maybe you want to have a dashboard with relevant information over there. Okay. So the first things I'll be copying is these charts, right? So I'll copy this with my Ctrl+C, and then I'll come to my dashboard and then paste it here. So let me reduce this size. Okay. And also reduce the screen so that you can have a better view of what we are creating. I'll go back to my test analysis and then copy malaria prevalence maybe. So like I said, depending on what data you deem relevant, to have on your dashboard. Then come back to the test analysis and copy the last one on HP. Bring it to the dashboard and paste. Okay, great. Then let's go to the financials section and copy revenue sources. You go to dashboard and we paste it. We go back to financials. We copy the most requested test, come to the dashboard and paste it. Okay. Then the last one on financials, we have the test requested against revenue generated. Come to the dashboard and we paste the last one. So everything looking so great. So I'll shift this here and I'll shift this here. Now it could sometimes be difficult aligning these on a straight line, so I can select these charts by using Control and using my mouse to select the various charts. Then you go to shape format and I want to align these to the top so everything is aligned. And I would do same for these ones. So shape format, align these to the top, and probably align these ones to the right. Great. So this is a dashboard that we have created. And then what you can do is to add those buttons that will change these figures as and when you are doing your analysis. So we can select one of the data and go to pivot chart analyze. Then you go to insert slicer. Maybe per what we have here, we just want to have a button on just the text. Okay, I think that's the most relevant button here. Okay, so we would okay that and put our button over there. Great. So now if we want this to be applied to this chart as well as this chart, all you have to do is to right click it, go to report connections and select all the pivot tables if they are not selected. Over here they are all selected, so you press on OK. So now if I select female, you realize that the data changes to only females. If I select males, the data changes to male. If I close this slicer, I would have the full data back. So let's say we would also want to add a date to it. So you go back to, you select any of them and you go to the pivot chart analyze, then you set timeline. So you set date, and then you press on OK. This will only work for the data you've entered. If the data you entered has a date, okay, has a date. So for instance, if I select, if you look at what we have here, we have data spanning from 2021 through to 2022. Okay. But for instance, if I select October, November, changes, you realize we don't have any data in November. Okay. If I select December, we have a few data in December, but no data in October. Right. And you realize that once you select the period, it affects the graphs. Let's apply this already. Go to report connections. So if there are any pivot tables you don't want these to apply to, you can uncheck them. But in our case, we need them. So that is why I'm saying that you can select them. Then you press OK. So let's do same for these ones. The group of information we use to generate these, you realize we're from the test analysis, and it has different dates from the financial. So we can include the dates for the financial. So you go to pivot chart analyze, we go to insert timeline, select our date, then we press on OK. So we have the date here, which will be controlling the graphs here. What you do is you right click it, then you report connections so that you can, okay, great, we have our pivot charts already selected, but if they weren't, you would have to select them yourself. Then you press on OK. So now if I select November, I'll have data for only the month of November. If I select December, there is no data. October, okay, there is data. If I want to select more than 1 month, I'll use the shift button and then tap on the month. Okay, so let's see from September to November. That's the data that you have, and you realize that if you are doing a presentation, then these tabs and the dashboard really comes in handy. So guys, this is how to create a dashboard. Thank you very much, and don't miss the next section.